The news and rumours just don't stop for the new HBO Harry Potter series, and it looks like it has now been confirmed that the show will indeed consist of 8 episodes for each of the first 2 seasons. In a previous video, which I have linked below, I discussed the rumours that season 1 and 2 would only consist of 6 episodes each. But I am personally very happy that they are sticking to the original 8 episodes plan, as in my opinion it means that we will be getting far more character development early on for Harry and the Dursleys. One of the key reasons I think this is due to a load of leaks that came out over the last couple of weeks about filming locations for the show. We obviously know that the main bulk of the filming is going to be taking place at Leavesden Studios. However, there are a fair amount of external locations that have been leaked, which suggests there will be far more time devoted to Harry's life pre-Hogwarts. So what I'm going to do is go over each of these leaks and rumours and discuss them and theorise what exactly they might be filming here and what impact they might have on the series as a whole. And finally, these are simply just theories and rumours. Absolutely nothing is fully set in stone yet. So let's jump straight into the first external location, which is London Zoo. I have discussed this location in a previous video, but essentially the reptile house at London Zoo has already earned its place in Harry Potter history, having featured in the very first movie. So when news broke that the production was returning to the zoo for more filming, it suggested that HBO are going to be returning to previous locations and reusing certain sets to keep a similar style and familiarity for the show instead of a totally new vision. On July 16th, HBO started capturing scenes in both the penguin enclosure and the reptile section, and that's not all. Reporters were able to catch the first glimpses of Harry, the Dursleys, and Piers Polkiss. Something else that's quite interesting is that an ice cream van was spotted at the shoot, fueling speculation that the scene with the Dursleys buying ice creams will also be included in the episode. Sure enough, the leaked photos later confirmed it. There were the Dursleys happily licking their ice creams while Harry looked on. This is one of many indications that the show is allowing more time for these small details, which will be really important for character development, especially for the Dursleys, as hopefully they are going to have a much bigger role to play in later seasons than what the movies gave them. So the next leaked location is Jenny's restaurant in Hayes. While details about the scene filmed here are scarce, no cast sightings or script leaks, we do know that the crew took over a full week to prepare. It's difficult to know what they would be filming here, although the leading theory is that it is for the scene after Harry and Hagrid's trip to Diagon Alley, where they stop to buy hamburgers before Harry heads back to the Dursleys. There were also reports that rain machines were positioned outside of the restaurant in order to create the illusion of a downpour. This is slightly odd, however, as the scene mentioned would be taking place in the middle of summer, although that's not necessarily a huge surprise when it comes to British summers. It does, however, lead me to think that there might be another scene that they are filming here instead. In the Philosopher's Stone book, Harry recalls that
every year on Dudley's birthday, his parents took him and a friend out for the day to adventure parks, hamburger bars, or the cinema.
So potentially they could be filming these locations as part of a flashback scene, which will then allow Harry's inner thoughts to come to life in a way that we never really saw in the movie. It's a bit of a stretch, and I do think the first scene I mentioned is more likely, however, it's not completely out of the realms of possibility. Before we go on, please remember to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and hit the notification bell so you are kept up to date when I bring out more updates about the upcoming HBO show. The next location where we actually saw Nick Frost's Hagrid and Dominic McLaughlin's Harry filming is at Embankment Station in London. This is likely capturing the moment from the book where Hagrid takes Harry to Diagon Alley on the Underground. The original Philosopher's Stone movie actually did film a scene with Hagrid and Harry on the Underground, however it was ultimately cut. It's nice to see that this new adaptation will finally bring that portion of Harry's journey to life. Interestingly, the leaked footage suggests Nick Frost is portraying Hagrid using an oversized practical suit. The way they filmed Hagrid in the original movies was actually pretty incredible, and I'd suggest going and checking it out actually, especially if you are interested in film production. But the approach of HBO suggests a departure from the original movie's approach of mixed perspective and CGI. This does actually align with reports that the series will rely more on physical effects to keep the magic grounded and more realistic. While some digital enhancement will likely refine Hagrid's appearance, it does seem that Nick Frost's performance is most likely going to be mainly in camera. This definitely is a fresh take, but one that could potentially make Hagrid feel more tangibly real. Filming also took place at JFK School in Hemel Hempstead, and if rumours are to be believed, this location will serve as the Muggle school Harry attended during his childhood. While we never actually see Harry in primary school during the main timeline of Philosopher's Stone, he does reference some bizarre moments that happened during his primary school days. Like the time his hair grew back overnight after Aunt Petunia sheared it off, leaving only his fringe, or the moment he somehow ended up on the school roof while fleeing Dudley's gang. If the show is indeed filming here to bring Harry's memories to life, it does kind of support my earlier theory that HBO might be using flashbacks in order to develop Harry's character more. These glimpses into his past would add crucial depth, making his discovery of magic far more impactful later on. By the time Hagrid arrives, revealing the truth about Harry, the audience and Harry himself will have a far greater understanding of the mysterious forces that have been at play in his life. This approach wouldn't just fill in gaps from the book, it would strengthen the emotional core of Harry's entire journey. And if the rumours are true, including Harry's primary school could be the first step in fleshing out this darker, more textured version of Harry's childhood. The final location that has been reported on is the Old Magistrates' Court in Watford, and this one's a little bit more of a mystery. The Old Magistrates' Court is actually a pretty popular filming location. For example, the show Adolescence was recently filmed there, and with it being in Watford, it's only a stone's throw away from Leavesden Studios. Also, production crews were spotted filming there on the exact day of the filming at Embankment Station in central London. Now, there are actually no visible signs or props at this location, which could mean that this shoot wasn't actually for Harry Potter. There are actually two other productions happening in and around London at the moment. One is House of the Dragon and the other is Ghostwriter. However, as House of the Dragon is a fantasy epic and Ghostwriter is rumoured to be science fiction, the architecture of the Old Magistrates' Court does seem to align more with Harry Potter's aesthetic. Having said that, it's still unclear exactly what they would be filming here, and honestly, I'm pretty unsure about that as well, as HBO have already cast Bertie Carvel as Cornelius Fudge. One of the most common suggestions that popped up in my comments was people suggesting that we would see a cold open of the downfall of Voldemort and the end of the First Wizarding War. This would include a Ministry of Magic announcement that the war is over. Now, the original book timeline wouldn't actually have Cornelius Fudge as Minister for Magic then, as he only came into power a year before Harry went to Hogwarts. However, it is still an interesting idea that we could definitely see brought to life, and the Old Magistrates' Court is a perfect location for something based at the Ministry. Again, this is just a theory based off very little evidence, so I'd like to hear your suggestions and thoughts in the comments below. All in all, these locations, leaks and rumours are leaving me feeling cautiously optimistic. My hopes and expectations for the show seem to fluctuate fairly regularly week in, week out. With rumours on episode counts, casting choices, and now location leaks, the situation for the show is rapidly changing and evolving, and it is pretty hard to keep up with it at all times. So again, remember to hit the notification bell, as I will be keeping you up to date when we hear any more news, rumours, or leaks when they are made available. I'll see you next time for more discussions on the upcoming HBO Harry Potter show.